Hello, my name is Edwin Edebiri, the Chief Happiness Officer with the I Am Happy Project and also the Happy Neighborhood Project. If you guys are just joining us, this is our Happy Monday call, and it's our global effort to spread happiness and especially to give the week a jump start to help you build your week on a foundation of happiness. Now, today, folks, I have a really special treat for you guys, and we're going to be discussing a topic that is really, really essential to our happiness, but it's also one that we don't talk about too often. And so today we are going to talk about sexuality and happiness. You heard me right. Sexuality and happiness. And to kind of help me digest it, I have a special guest that totally focus on helping people make sense out of it and truly make meaning out of it and enjoy a life with it. As a certified sexology licensed psychologist and a trained coach, Denise Wren helps people to facilitate many transformations of living with life where there is unsatisfying to one that is truly fed and truly happy. Now, she talked about sexuality, intimacy, relationship in all areas. Denise, welcome to the call.
Thanks so much, Edwin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this is one thing, folks. I mean, I said since 2009, I've been really focused on the subject of happiness and never really talk about sexuality and happiness. So this is going to be a treat for my audience. And I hope you're going to help us kind of digest it. So why don't we go straight into it? So what is sexuality?
Well, Edwin, I consider sexuality to be the core of the human experience. It's certainly a physical act, yes. It's how most of us got here, but it's far greater than that. It's really, sex is three letters of a larger word, sexuality. And sexuality encompasses the physical, sure, but also the emotional, mental, the spiritual, the relational, and cultural aspects of all of us. It touches every part of our lives. In the early 80s, this guy, Dennis Daly, he introduced this thing called the circles of sexuality, and he talked about it being sensuality, intimacy, identity, health, and sexualization. And the way he talked about it, he really acknowledged the light and the shadow aspects of it. It's everything. It's beautiful and blissful, and it can be amazing, but it can also be used as violence and for control. Sexuality is a creative energy, and it can be creative, but it can also destroy. So whatever we focus on, we grow, and whatever we deny is going to burst out onto the scene one way or another.
Yes,
many people have a lot of wounds. They have a lot of wounds around sexuality, and the beauty of my work is to help them to heal the wounds and to work with them in a way of respecting them and understanding them.
Wow, we've heard a lot about that in the news lately, and I'm not going to go into the politics of it at all. But sexuality can be very complicated. A lot of people consider it to be sensitive and maybe even awkward subject. How do you work with clients to help them with that?
Yeah, it's a really great question. It is a very complex subject. And I consider sexuality as an avenue to raise one's consciousness. I think the way that I operate and I view and I work with sexuality, it's broad. And it's really helpful for people in their comfort levels to think of it less as just one physical act and something more broad, like everything I was just describing. And in many ways, it's about giving and receiving. And those two things can be really tricky for a lot of us. We all have a lot of stories that we live by around giving, receiving. Some people might think, oh, if I give too much, there won't be any left for me, or if I receive, I'll owe the other person. And when I hear somebody say their story, I listen to their relationship with themselves. What's the relationship like? Is it generous, patient, hurried, judgmental? How someone relates to themselves can really shed a lot of light on how they relate to others. So when I work with people, I really work with the whole person, not only with sex-related concerns exclusively. I work with them and how to understand and how they relate to themselves. What's their experience with their body? How busy or peaceful are their minds? And because I think of it broadly, it's really helpful for clients to feel comfortable. That and having a good, sensitive, compassionate sense of humor really helps. And it makes all the difference.
Absolutely. One of my topics, I talk about happiness as an inside job. And from what you're talking now, it seems like sexuality is also an inside job. So if somebody doesn't treat themselves well, it's going to be very hard for them to treat other people well.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. So let's talk about sexuality and spirituality. How does that overlap?
Two of my favorite subjects, Edwin. Well, the path that each of us are on in this life is really unique and powerfully intertwined with others. I understand spirituality to be the connection of something both deep within and beyond ourselves. And sexual attraction and sexuality overall, it's a form of energy. It's a pull, a yearning. It's a curiosity. It's an unspoken connection that's full of feeling, way beyond words. And much of the same words and phrases that can be used to describe spirituality can also be used to understand sexuality. And in things like a yogic framework, like Kundalini or Tantra, it's easy to see how there's really no difference between sexuality and spirituality. They both support and they are each other. And both can feed each other and allow for a healthier relationship with oneself and others.
Wow, that is awesome. Because again, one of the things, I try to look at the whole body because my whole belief is that every human being deserves to be happy. And I cannot picture a completely happy life without sexuality. Because like you said, we think about it, we experience it, we do all kinds of stuff. And if somebody is not complete from that point, it's going to definitely affect, how they relate to themselves, how they relate to others, and, of course, their level of happiness. Now, is there anything people can start doing now to increase their happiness around sexuality, like a takeaway?
Yeah. Sexuality is it's about embodiment. It's about being in one's body. And it's about just being present with what comes up and not judging it and not getting too attached to it, but just experiencing what it is that comes up. And I guess just as a note, an important side note, that if somebody is doing this embodiment work and dealing with their sexuality, if they have a history of trauma, it's just important to make sure that they're doing it with a trained professional. But I will say, by doing things like the things that give us the opportunity to remember that our body and mind are not disconnected, like yoga, conscious dancing, or walking meditation, or even medicine wheels or ceremonial circles or drumming. They're all things that use the body and the mind all at once. So learning about kind of conscious body movement, the Kundalini or the Tantra yogas, or even conscious BDSM practices are also ways. And it's possible to do something, just right now by getting into a comfortable position and simply bringing the awareness to the breath. The breath and the body are at the core of sexuality. And if somebody just sits and notices how the breath enters and exits the body, consider if the breathing is shallow. Is it deep? Is it up in the chest or is it deep in the belly? Noticing how somebody is in the world, how they feel when they sit, how their legs move when they walk. Doing body movement meditations are really, really helpful. And it's very simple, and you could do it anywhere. It doesn't even have to look like it's going on. It's just bringing one's conscious attention to the body and how it's moved. And being more embodied can lead to more happiness around sexuality. And that's what we all want, more happiness around sexuality.
Absolutely. Wow. Folks, again, some of the simplest things in life are the things that really make us happy. So I hope as you listen to Denise, folks, you can actually put some of those things to practice. Like she said, you can be doing it and people don't even know you are doing it. You can be, in your car, in the train station, in the airport. I mean, just totally, taking control of your own sexuality, folks. Well, Denise Ray, she is a certified sexologist. So if anybody is thinking about taking this a little bit further, she is the person to talk to. She spends all her time doing that. And we are very fortunate she's one of our feature coach. So if you haven't downloaded the Happy button yet, please do so and look up Denise Ray in the future coaching session. And also, go to the IamHappyProject.org website under Feature Coaches, and you'll be able to get information to connect with her in our website and everything. Denise, I want to say thank you very much for enlightening us, this morning about sexuality and happiness.
Thank you so much, Edwin, and happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you too. Folks, in the spirit of our Happy Monday, let's together say Happy Monday to each other at count of 2. 1, 2.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
All right. Thank you very much. And you guys stay happy.